The Chancellor of Germany, officially the Federal Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany, is the head of government and chief executive of Germany, as well as the commander-in-chief of the German armed forces during wartime. The Chancellor is elected by the Bundestag on the proposal of the federal president and without debate. The current office holder is Angela Merkel, who was elected in 2005 and re-elected in 2009, 2013 and 2018. She is the first woman to be elected Chancellor. The office of Chancellor has a long history, stemming back to the Holy Roman Empire, when the office of German Archchancellor was usually held by archbishops of Mainz. The title was, at times, used in several states of German-speaking Europe. The modern office of Chancellor was established with the North German Confederation, of which Otto von Bismarck became Bundeskanzler in 1867. With the enlargement of this federal state to the German Empire in 1871, the title was renamed to Reichskanzler. With Germany's Constitution of 1949, the title of Bundeskanzler was revived. During the various eras, the role of the Chancellor has varied. From 1867 to 1918, the Chancellor was the only responsible minister of the federal level. He was installed by the federal president. The State Secretary was civil servants subordinate to the Chancellor. Besides the executive, the Constitution gave the Chancellor only one function: presiding over the Federal Council, the representative organ of the states. But in reality, the Chancellor was nearly always installed as Minister-President of Prussia, too. Indirectly, this gave the Chancellor the power of the Federal Council, including the dissolution of Parliament. Although effective government was possible only on cooperation with the Parliament, the results of the elections had only an indirect influence on the Chancellorship. At most only in October 1918 was the constitution changed. It required the Chancellor to have the trust of the Parliament. Some 2 weeks later, Chancellor Max von Baden declared the abdication of the Emperor and ceded power illegally to the Revolutionary Council of People's Delegates. According to the Weimar Constitution of 1919, the Chancellor was head of a collegial government. The Chancellor was appointed and dismissed by the President, as were the ministers. Upon proposal by the Chancellor, the Chancellor or any minister had to be dismissed if demanded by Parliament. As today, the Chancellor had the prerogative to determine the guidelines of government. In reality, this power was limited by coalition government and the President. When the Nazis came to power on the 30th of January 1933, the Weimar Constitution was de facto set aside. After the death of President Hindenburg in 1934, Adolf Hitler, the dictatorial party leader and chancellor, took over the powers of the president. The new official title became Führer und Reichskanzler. The 1949 constitution gave the chancellor much greater powers than during the Weimar Republic, while strongly diminishing the role of the president. Germany is today often referred to as a chancellor democracy, reflecting the role of the chancellor as the country's chief executive. Since 1867, 33 individuals have served as heads of government of Germany, West Germany, or Northern Germany, nearly all of them with the title of chancellor. Due to his administrative tasks, the head of the clerics at the chapel of an imperial palace during the Carolingian Empire was called chancellor under Emperor Frederick Barbarossa. In 1559, Emperor Ferdinand I established the agency of an imperial chancellery. The German Confederation of 1815 to 1866 did not have a government or parliament, only the Bundestag as representative organ of the states. In the now defunct German Democratic Republic or chairman of the Council of Ministers of the GDR, the head of the federal government of the North German Confederation, which was created on 1 July 1867, had the title Bundeskanzler. The only person to hold the office was Otto von Bismarck, the Prime Minister of Prussia. The king, being the bearer of the Bundespräsidium, installed him on 14 July. Under the constitution of 1 January 1871, the king had additionally the title of emperor. The constitution still called the chancellor Bundeskanzler. This was only changed in the new constitution of 16 April 1871 to Reichskanzler. The office remained the same, and Bismarck was not even reinstalled. In the 1871 German Empire, the Reichskanzler served both as the emperor's first minister and as presiding officer of the Bundesrat, the upper chamber of the German parliament. He was neither elected by nor responsible to parliament. Instead, the chancellor was appointed by the emperor. The federal level had 4 organs. Technically, the foreign ministers of the empire's states instructed their states as deputies to the federal council and therefore outranked the chancellor. For this reason, Prince Bismarck continued to serve as both